Hello, everyone. The Abundance Oracle here at my spot on the beach. And I wanted to have a conversation with you of assets, except I want to share some very good news. For the first time in ever, I had 2 sour bread dough turn out, one yesterday and one today. So it's slow progress, but it's getting better. And I know whatever you're working on, your challenges that you're working on, some are big, some are little, but once again, if you're successful, bravo, bravo. I'm patting myself on the back when I say that. Okay, today I want to talk to you about an asset that you may want to consider purchasing during hard times. I'm going to tell you why. I got to put these on. It's so bright here. And it's not an asset that pays dividends. It doesn't cash flow, as they would call it. And cash flowing means you buy something and over time it gives you back income or dividends, but it's still money comes back to you. So that would include sometimes dividend paying stocks. Bonds can give you coupons or pay you back money as well. Coupons. Oh, that's aging myself. They don't really do coupons anymore. So what I'd like to talk to you about is hard assets. And hard assets are often very important during challenging times, during times of inflation. And in the late 1920s, it was a very jovial time in the United States until the stock market crash came and the Depression came. And a lot of people lost their real estate because they couldn't afford to pay the taxes. Now, back then, you didn't have as much mortgages as you do now. So, but you had to pay taxes, and they needed people to pay taxes because during a war movement, the government spends lots of money. So, over time, what I did is I made my money working as a financial advisor. I was actually a broker at the time, but now I think they call people financial advisors, senior VPs. Okay, so I made my money giving advice, and I was very good at it, and I was lucky that I got to retire early. I'm good at forecasting, and forecasting means that you can look out into the future, and you're so familiar sometimes with the numbers, futures contracts, and what's happening. And I say it has a lot also to do with, are you in touch with people? Because you'll get a lot of sentiment from talking with people that isn't really measured all the time. So anyhow, that's where I made my money. I didn't want to invest in the same industry where I made my money. So I started buying little homes and renting them out. And I worked every weekend, painting, ripping up weeds, landscaping, etc., etc. I accumulated quite a few little single-family homes and then traded those up for commercial real estate. I had to take big mortgages on commercial real estate because they're much more expensive than single-family homes, and you have to pay 30% down instead of 20% down that you pay on single-family homes. So it took me a long time. Now I'm getting to be able to pay some of those off, and they're spitting off rental income. Once the mortgages get paid off, you'll have significant rental income, but in the meantime, I had to pay off mortgages, and I did triple net, so I didn't really have a lot of repairs or anything, but you don't get as much income for rent if you're having everybody else pay the taxes, insurance, repairs, etc. Okay, now I'm talking to my friends, I'm talking to my kids, I'm talking to people that are about to retire, and there's a couple different ways I'd like to advise you, because each phase in life might need different advice. If you're a younger person right now, you need to master budgeting and savings. You need to stock up as much as you can so that you can start buying some income producing assets, so that you can then save some income from not only your job but also from the things that you own, and you keep stockpiling it. It's like snowballing. You need to become bigger and bigger, more and more, and so that by the time you can purchase something of significant wealth, you will then have more assurance that the rest of your life it will still be there and you can pass it down to your kids. Unfortunately, my generation, I'm at the tail end of the baby boomers, we've been very lucky. Our parents both worked for the majority of the people of our parents, and we worked husband and wife as well. And we've experienced more abundance. However, introduced to our generation, one of the largest generations that has ever occurred in the United States, is debt. We have used debt in many instances in the wrong way, and it has given us great pleasure and great joy along the way. But now, as we're older, we have not accumulated nearly as much as the past generations have, and it's time to pay the piper. So, different situations for different ages, but learn from our mistakes. Do not carry debt from one month to the next. You need to save and accumulate a stockpile of wealth. And what I mean by wealth is quite a few different things. It could be the stock market, but I suggest you, if you're younger, find some older person who's been through the 2008 major recession. People that invested in the stock market back then, some lost 30, 40, 50%. And if you're older, it's extremely hard to recuperate that amount. Talk to them and learn from their experience. You can also save and invest in other things. If you do hard assets could be things like gold, silver, gemstones, real estate, things that are tangible, that would not be investing in, at this point, savings in US dollars. It may turn out okay, but right now we're gambling because the past boss didn't take care to have our country be financially well off and financially stable. And right now we're trying to get on the right track, but there may need to be another crash, or one might be coming towards us whether we like it or not. There may be a war on our footsteps. The global conditions aren't rosy and peachy keen. I'm sure you all know that. If you take the time to listen to this, then I know you're probably up on current events and what's going on. So hard assets, they're all different. When there's stress, when there's wars, when there's problems, a lot of wealthier people go buy gold if they can afford to have an asset that doesn't spit off income or is not as easy to sell on a day-to-day basis, doesn't have the liquidity, we call it. So you might have to hang on to it for a long time. And a lot go into gold, which is, for the average person now, it's hard because that's about $3,000, give or take. And silver, they go into silver, which is, I think this morning it was around $32 for an ounce. So you can accumulate that in your safe, grab a little safe and do something like that. If you have enough money, there's going to be quite a few foreclosures coming up, and the price of real estate will be once again going down like it did after 2008, 9, 10. You might be able to get a good deal, if not even foreclosed property, and a great deal. So it's going to be very different times for a while until this financial situation in the United States stabilizes. And there's, as you know, a lot of pieces that go into that puzzle. And unless you're in this business, it's very hard to, even if you are in this business, it's hard to know for sure what's going on. So you have to cover your tuchus. You got to say, okay, what if things get better? What if things get worse? How am I going to play this? I know if you've worked hard for your money and spent hours and hours laboring over doing things for others to get paid, you may not want to risk losing money so easily because it's very hard to recuperate. And it's very hard to work so many more hours. So you may want to take a safer route than a risky route. And I frankly call gambling for the average person the stock market. So just be careful. Let me know what you think, how much risk tolerance you have. Let me know what questions you have about this. I'm afraid to get too technical because sometimes that doesn't really assist people. Tell me what's going on with you. I'd like to know. And if there's anything in particular you want to learn about or want me to explain more fully or more deeply, please let me know. This is the Abundance Oracle sending you a big hug and wishing the very best of my happy day with my 2 sourdough breads. You have no idea how hard that was for me to get 2 days in a row with successful sourdough breads. All right, I'll share some other accomplishments that I'm trying to work on that may not seem like a big deal to you, but oh my gosh. This brainiac here, I struggle with some things. We all have things we're good at, things we're bad at, so I wish you the very best. Big hugs. Subscribe if you can. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.